Hi guys, so I'm here with my Harley Benton Fusion T today because I've owned it for about a year now, or just over a year, and in that time I've been gigging it, I've recorded with it, so I thought it'd be a good time to kind of do like a 1 year on review of this guitar. I've done a video of this in the past, showcasing all the different tones and that kind of thing, so I'll put a link to that one in the description if you want to check that out as well. But yeah, so a bit of background on this one. Back in 2021 I was looking at the Harley Benton Fusion range, and I'd had my eye on them for a little while, mainly because they were pretty cheap, but the spec was amazing. Like, to look at the spec sheet, you'd think they were a much more expensive guitar. So in fact I'll just go through the specs a little bit just in case anyone isn't 100% sure. But starting at the top, we got staggered locking tuners, which are really nice. They're really accurate and they hold tune perfectly. Really good. It's got a Graphtec nut. It's got a roasted flame maple neck, which looks really nice. It's got stainless steel frets, which are again really nice. The quality of the the finish, like there's no sharp edges on the frets or anything like that. It's a really good job. Obviously it's got like a flame maple veneer top kind of thing, natural finish, which looks really nice. Changes a bit like depending on the light. But yeah, what else we got? We got obviously like the contoured heel and like neck joint type thing. The neck adjusts at the bottom, little truss rod adjuster at the bottom of the neck, similar to the kind of like the Ernie Ball Music Man type things. 2 humbuckers, Wilkinson tremolo, 2-point trem. We've got a 3-way selector switch, coil tap or coil split even on the tone control, and yeah, just volume and tone. But yeah, it's a really nice guitar. Like the tremolo is really nice. It stays in tune really well. It's really responsive. Yeah, it's a great guitar, to be honest. So this one actually popped up fairly local to me, secondhand online, early 2022. So I thought, perfect opportunity to give one a go. So I got it, and to be honest, I've been really happy with it since day one. The guy who was selling it, it was in like pretty much brand new like condition, hardly played. I think he'd bought it like to start learning, and then decided he didn't want to learn to play anymore. But yeah, it's a 2021 model, so fairly recent. And like I say, I've gigged with it. I've done a little bit of recording with it as well, actually, and I've been really happy with it. So price wise, like new, they've just gone up in price. I think I had a little look online. I think they've gone up slightly to what they were. You can still get some of them depending on the finish and what bridge or tremolo it has. They're as cheap as £230, or I think the most expensive I saw was £360. So the only difference is with the finishes. You can get a model that has a plain maple neck with rosewood fretboard or similar to rosewood. But yeah, the finish, the neck, and whether it has the Wilkinson trem or a hardtail trem or a Floyd rose, those factors kind of depend. The price depends on those factors. Quality wise, fantastic. Everything about it is spot on, really. There's honestly, and this isn't an exaggeration, like there's nothing that I could complain about. Like in terms of the build quality. Well, maybe one tiny thing which I'll mention in a moment. But like I said, the fret ends are like finished lovely. There's no sharp edges. You know, the finish itself is excellent. You know, I couldn't find any kind of discrepancies in the finish. And you know, it's you know, I can't. This isn't like me just being like, oh, for the price I'll let certain things slide either. Like there's nothing to, you know, pick out on really. The nut was really well cut and well slotted. I've had no issues with that. Haven't had to touch it. The finish, like I say, was excellent. The one thing that I did have to do was when I restrung it, I gave the frets, like the tops of the frets, a polish because they were a little bit scratchy. Now obviously they're stainless steel frets, so you would expect them to be a little bit smoother if anything, but the tops of the frets just weren't polished to, you know, a super kind of high finish. But that, you know, didn't take long, maybe 10-15 minutes to just give them a quick polish while I changed the strings. And then it was good to go. So yeah, I mean, you know, the good points are like everything that the spec sheet promises, the guitar delivers. You know, it's comfortable to play. It looks nice. Like I say, the neck's brilliant. I really like the feel of the neck. The finish is awesome. It's not a super slim neck, so if you was looking to buy one of these thinking it's going to be something like you know, like the Ibanez Wizard necks where they're super slim, or like flat, it's not like that. It's not chunky either. It's maybe on the slimmer side of medium, I would say, but it's extremely comfortable to play. However, with it now being somewhere between 1 and 2 years old, there are a couple issues that are starting to develop with the electronics, and I think this is one of the areas where Harley Benton have kind of managed to save some money in the production costs, is that they've perhaps used some cheaper components for the electronics. So the pickup selector switch has started to crackle a little bit when changing pickups, and it kind of like cuts out a little bit as well. And the same with the volume control as well. As you adjust that, you know, pretty much crackles however you set it, and sometimes cuts out completely. So that's going to need sorting out pretty soon if I want to continue you know, gigging this guitar and everything. But you know, for what it costs, like even, you know, if you was to buy one new, you know, 1 to 2 years down the line you have to replace a switch or a volume part, it's like, what's that, you know, £10 tops for a good quality switch. That's if you can do it yourself. Probably looking at maybe £30-40 if you take it to a guitar tech, I suppose. But you know, I wouldn't be too you know, fussed about that. So yeah, I mean, overall I think, you know, it's a fantastic guitar, and you know, especially for the money. And I think if I was to pick one up new now for, like, even say like the top end of what they're priced at, so around, you know, £360, I think I'd still be really happy with that purchase. I think and not just the Fusion T, there's the like the Super Strat style one as well, which I think it's like the Fusion 3 now or Fusion 2. I'm not sure on that, you have to check. But you know, they're the same. They're like same spec, just in like a Super Strat style. I think they've got to be an extremely strong contender for the best guitar you can get under, you know, 400, maybe even £500. Like, they definitely compete with guitars that are in, you know, the higher price brackets. So yeah, that's about where I'm at with it really. You know, at some point soon I'll sort out the pickup selector switch and the volume control. I'll probably just redo all the electronics, to be honest. In fact, that's one thing I haven't mentioned is, I think going forwards now, one thing I'll look to do is replace the pickups in this. I should have said before, actually, the pickups are fine. Like, they're not bad. You know, there's not anything about them that makes me think I need to change the pickups, like desperately or anything. But they're not great either. They do the job, but obviously there's much better options out there. So that's something I'll look to do in the future as well. What I'll probably do with this guitar is replace the pickups and replace the electronics as well at some point. But even then, I think if you factor in the cost of, you know, what a set of pickups and the electronics will cost, you know, and add that to how much the guitar costs, you still got an absolute, you know, bargain of a guitar, really. You know, it compete with, like I say, compete with guitars in much higher price brackets. So yeah, really happy with this. It's a great guitar. So if you're thinking about getting one, go for it and see what you think. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video anyway, and hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful if you're considering buying one of these. Feel free to like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, hopefully see you in the next one.